My last year in Czech Republic, especially when the war happened, it was difficult as a Russian speaker. I was, for example, having a lot of like harassments on the street. I was walking and talking to my mom on the phone in Russian, and there were people screaming at me like, "Go back to Russia," even though I'm not from Russia. Like, I just have like roots from Russia, from Russia, and people were calling me daughter of Stalin, daughter of Putin,
What?
and I was really scared speaking Russian, and it's even weird because in my like blood or ancestry, I have more like Ukrainian blood than Russian, and
Right.
I spent a lot of time in Ukraine growing up because my grandma is from Ukraine, so I
Right.
spent a lot of time in Kiev, Odessa, Dnieper, like uh, Crimea when it was back then it was Ukraine, and so I grew up kind of between two nations,
Mm.
and when people really scream at you and harass you without even knowing where the you're from,
Yeah.
I found it so like it was hurting me a lot.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chico Moya. If you didn't know that, it means you are obviously not subscribed and you should subscribe. For those of you who have been to my channel before, welcome back. So today I am doing what I said I'm going to do, which was have interviews and conversations with other people who have experienced Finland in a different way. I'm really excited to share this conversation with you. I had a talk with Asalya. She is originally from Uzbekistan and she's currently living in Finland and has been living here for over a year, if I'm not mistaken. She's also spent some time in the Czech Republic and she's had quite an interesting journey here. She's a musician, she's also an influencer, and I'll put all of her links at the bottom of this video. We talk about a wide range of things from politics to philosophy to living in Finland and a bunch of other things. Let me know what you think. And yeah, let's just get into it. How in the world do you end up in Finland? And where were you from before? Like give me a little rundown of the whole process.
So I was born in Uzbekistan,
Okay.
and at the age of 18, I decided to move out.
You decided to
And
move out. Let me just turn you a little loud on you. Yeah. Yeah.
so at the age of 18, I decided to move out, and I always felt like I didn't feel myself or I didn't belong in the society where I grew up.
Okay.
So I was always asking myself like what am I doing here? I always felt like I'm just like hiding and I'm just like not able to express myself to the fullest because growing up as a girl in a very conservative country, it's like you always have these restrictions. You're expected to behave certain way.
Is it
You
religious?
It is religious country. It's a majority of people are Muslim there, but it's
Okay.
not really. I don't see that it's only because of the religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this mentality of people, um, and I understand that some people can live with that. But I was really struggling, and
Mm.
I was always a fan of rock music, and I was always different in comparing to other girls, and
Right.
many people saw me kind of not like cool that I was different, but more like an outsider. So if you stand out, if you're different, um, it was not always kind of appreciated. It was more like weird. But I moved to Czech Republic
Okay.
to study, and then I stayed there for almost 10 years.
10 years? Really?
Yeah, and that's the place. This is the place where
Huh.
I consider that I grew up in Czech Republic,
Right.
like a person, and I could really discover more who I really am. So I
Right.
had this kind of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But then 10 years later, I ended up here in Finland
Right.
because I felt for the past like couple of years in Prague that when I was living there, I just felt that I was not feeling well anymore there.
Okay. In
It,
what way? Well,
um, I just felt that I already reached that level when I want to have um, like a better connection with people besides just going out. I love going out. I like to have fun, but then I realized when I really needed someone to be there for me, it was really like limited people, like limited amount of people. So I have thousands of friends in Prague and I absolutely love them. But if I could narrow down like real friends from all of those thousands, that would be like two.
really?
And I just felt that I'm also not feeling the best about myself in this place anymore. So I was thinking, or I was feeling like I'm not able to grow up there. I
Yeah.
was just in this bubble, and I also wrote a song about it. It's called 22 again. So I'm gonna turn
Okay.
28 soon, but I just felt like I'm still living in those in
Yeah.
that student life, in those student years
Yeah.
when I was like 20 or to 22,
Yeah.
and I was just like I need a change. I need to just go somewhere else. And
Can you think of an experience that happened that made you feel that some of the people that call you friends are only friends to a certain level and not when you really need them? Did something like that happen that
yeah.
really drove it home for you?
Um, you mean like why I realized in Prague that I have these problems with?
Yes.
Actually, I kind of always denied it because I didn't want to kind of not hurt myself, but not really think much about it. But it literally happened this summer that I went back to Prague in July, and I was like announcing it kind of on social media. I'm going to Prague, and I went there for a month. And I was really so happy to see everyone, and everybody was like texting me on Instagram, yeah, we'll go there, we'll do this and that, blah blah blah, I'm gonna meet you, you're gonna stay in my house, we will do this and that. But then when I actually arrived, I felt so lonely that like this place was my home, but only really like 3 or 4 people were kind of willing to or made time to meet me. And I was there for 1 month and I felt like I'm chasing people to meet, and I felt so bad. I was so down. I really hated that feeling, and that was like a moment of realization. And then I created this like drama also on Instagram, I was like, oh my god, like screw you, all my friends,
What did you say on
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I posted it on my story. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm
Really?
not talking to you anymore. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
But then after I did that, people were calling me. Like, I don't think I ever received so many like calls in my
Really?
life. People were calling me like nonstop and like, hey, like, sorry, I was doing this, I was doing that, or something like that. And I was just ignoring everyone. I was like, no, like, you didn't find time for me before actually I
Yeah.
posted that. Now I'm thinking back that maybe it was like a really bold move for me to just say off
Yeah.
everyone.
You can swear if you want. It's not.
Okay, like fuck off everyone. Like, I still stand by what I said before, but
Right.
I still love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But I feel like I understand. I understand that feeling of going to a place that you considered your home, and home obviously is a combination of a bunch of different things,
yeah.
including the people.
That's like number one question
Yes.
people ask me, what is home? And honestly, this is the most difficult question for me because I lived in 3 places. Well,
Yeah.
Finland is my third place where I lived the least, but now I have so many things here that
Yeah.
I also start considering this place as my home. But
Right.
I had this kind of crisis before that I thought that, oh, I feel like I don't belong anywhere. I don't belong to like this culture or that culture. I feel like an
Yeah.
outsider everywhere, and I really wanted to have this feeling of really belonging to one place. And but now I think that I don't think that matters anymore to me. What matters is that I really enjoy living where I live. But it's I would still say that Prague is like more my home than
Mm.
any other place where I lived, but Finland is slowly becoming this place.
Why is that? What is happening in good old Finland that is slowly starting to make you feel like this place is home?
I think the main thing that really I always look forward to when I travel and when I come back to Finland is my band. And I think these guys really like make me feel so attached to this place. And I don't know, like I feel so much better like when I'm with them and when I make music. So I
Yeah.
think they kind of make this place home also.
Tell me a little bit about the whole band thing.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm trying to remember. So, how long have you been doing music,
Uh,
and when and how did you just? Because I swear, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, you're like, I've got a band, and I was like, oh, you actually play music and stuff? Like, what's the
it
vibe
was it
there?
was my dream my whole life. I had a band when I was in school. So it all started there. My dad was a musician, and he inspired me a lot. He was also a rock musician, so I was always going to his gigs, and I really started liking music because of him. And then I started writing music when I was, I don't know, like 16. You're also a musician. I don't know. Like, if you look back to the lyrics that you wrote when you were like 15 or 16, it's so cringe. And I'm like, I just want to tear it down, like, and throw it away.
Was it
But
all love songs?
it was weird. Like, it was not. My brother found like this little book of songs that I wrote when I was 16, literally like last year. And then I opened it and I was like, what the hell was happening with me during those times? It was not even love. It was something weird. I don't know.
Well, you're making it sound like you're a part of some sort of cult or
And
something.
I had all my own cult in my head, it seems. I have no idea. But basically, I was writing from very early age. And writing songs for me was something that I could really express myself and talk about things that I could never talk about at home or in the place where I grew up or with my friends, you know. So it was literally like letting it all out from the bottom of my heart and my soul. And I always knew that my dream is to be a musician.
So that's your actual dream.
That
That's
was
what.
my childhood dream, but unfortunately, where I grew up, it's being a musician is considered something like you're not gonna make much money from it and everything. It's just not worth the effort. And then when I moved to Czech Republic, I started going a lot to the gigs of different bands that I had no access going to the concerts in Uzbekistan. Like nobody ever goes there. Like no one
Right.
even know this place. Now people know because of social media and travel blogs. People go there, but uh, no bands really go there, like foreign bands. And for me,
Like almost nothing.
Enrique Iglesias went there like a couple of years ago. Mostly like the bands from post-Soviet countries go there. But then when I moved to Prague, I started going to the gigs,
Right.
and I was so inspired and I was writing even more, but I just didn't know where to start my career as a musician. And I tried to form a band there, but I failed. It was either the guys that had completely different genre, or we just didn't vibe. So it took me 10 years. Then I came to Finland, and I already kind of buried this dream. I wanted to start selling all the songs that I wrote, and that was like a book of songs.
What language are the songs in?
English.
Oh, in English. Okay.
Yeah. So I was already reaching out to people, asking how I can sell this stuff. And then one guy that I was talking to, he said, why do you want to sell it? Try to do it on your own. Try to just push yourself and become a musician. I was like, I don't know. I just don't know where to start. And then I was at some like dancing event, and there was this guy I was talking to, and we were just casually talking like, what do you like to do for life and everything. And I said, well, I had this dream to become a musician,
Right.
but now I'm not sure about it. And he just said, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll just fucking do that. And it's just like these 3 words, and just pushed me really. Like before, people were like, oh, just try, but he was like, just fucking do it, like stop messing around, like
Right.
just try, just go for it. And then I don't know, it happened so quick. It was like a matter of weeks. I put a band together. I found the guys from the place where I work, that they were like jamming casually in the office.
Wait, that's how you met them?
Yeah, and I just found out
nice.
about it. I just stole them from my company band. I was like, "Oh, I like how you play. Do you wanna like form a band?" And they were like, "Yeah, let's try." And we clicked immediately, all of us, and we started writing, and we just have such a great connection together. I don't know, like it's just a miracle for me. Like with every single member of a band, we're just so well connected, and we understand each other. And
That's so cool.
yeah.
And also, because how long have you been in Finland to be able... I know how difficult it is to find band members or people who you want to start writing music with. That's why for me, I've been doing solo music for ages, and I'm trying to get equipment so I can make my sound fuller. But you've been in Finland for how long? And now you've got a whole band?
More over a year.
Okay.
Like a year and I don't know, 3 months, something like that. I just feel it happened. It just happened this way. I was just lucky.
Yeah.
I think it was a miracle, really, because for all of these years I was trying to really put the band together for so long, and suddenly I have it, like out of nowhere. Sometimes I really ask myself, how the hell did that happen?
That is really incredible. I hearing just the fact that I didn't see anything about you posting about music, and next thing you had a full band together. And I was like, God damn. Tell me about the language, Finnish. How how is it treating you? How good are you? Are you able to are we able to switch to Finnish right now?
Ei
No.
kiitos.
No, I'm kidding. I would be... No, I'm not good at all.
I'm trying.
Because you speak Russian, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't help. Like,
Do you also speak is it
I
called
speak, I think, around 7 languages.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
People
What
sometimes say
languages?
like I'm a spy. Like,
Wait, how many?
so I grew up speaking Russian and Uzbek. Then I went to
Russian and Uzbek.
Uzbek.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
completely...
Uzbek was a, yeah.
No, Uzbek and Russian, people always confuse that, but Uzbek and Russian are completely 2 different languages.
Oh, so you said you grew up
Russian...
speaking Uzbek and Russian.
Yeah, Russian is Slavic, Uzbek is a Turkic language.
Oh.
And then I went to a school with German language. I don't know why my parents decided that I needed to learn German, but
Okay, so
well,
Uzbek,
whatever.
Russian, German.
Then I learned English in school.
English.
And when I went to college, I was friends with Turkish people. So my 2 best friends from college were Turkish, and Turkish is similar to Uzbek. So
Right.
I could speak really good Turkish before. Now I understand like most of it, but I need to kind of practice more to speak it.
Right.
Then when I went to university, I learned Spanish and then Czech, and now I'm learning Finnish and Italian. That's actually 9. Yeah.
What? Okay, so let me see. You can remember 9 languages, and I probably can't even remember all the languages. So Uzbek, Russian, Turkish, Czech, English,
German,
German,
Finnish,
Finnish,
Italian.
Italian.
Yeah.
So are you a spy though?
I'm gonna keep it as a secret.
Anyway, I feel like I side I sidetracked you. I can't remember what I was asking you about. But I think it was, oh, what language you write your songs in.
No, it was about Finnish. How is my Finnish going?
Oh, yeah.
It's.
Yeah. That's funny.
I
Yes.
mean, I don't mind skipping that question at all, but
No, I
my
mean the reason
Finnish-
why I ask is that I know for a lot of people who move here, the language can be one of the things that makes you feel lonely when depending on the people you hang out with. When I first came here, I found that although I met a lot of people who were all right speaking English with me, it was very common that I'd go to certain places where some people just wouldn't, or they would speak to me and then they'll go back to their own little group and they'll all start speaking Finnish, and you will get lost. You'll feel like you're deaf and blind and mute
I
because
think
yeah.
that I don't know. Like, of course, sometimes there are situations when you are the only foreigner,
Yeah.
and then people start speaking Finnish. But I was amazed how Finns how great their English is.
Right.
That's something that you won't find in Czech Republic. Like if you go to a supermarket and you don't speak Czech, or like if you want to receive some service, I don't know, whatever, like go to post office, supermarket,
Right.
or something, the chance that the person will speak English is so low. And I speak Czech, so I learned it pretty quickly, but there are people who were really struggling with that. But then when I came to Finland, the first like month I was still asking, do you speak English? Like, but now I don't
Right.
do that. I speak
I
like
know.
English straight on your face because I know you do, you know? And it's amazing. And I never had this situation that a person couldn't respond in English. And I'm really amazed, but it doesn't stop me from learning Finnish. I was always like saying to everyone that if you move to a country and you plan to stay there for some time, you should learn the language.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you integrate. And I really don't understand people who live for years in a foreign country and they don't speak anything, like
Yeah.
zero. I really don't get it, and I kind of feel in a way that it's disrespectful that you just don't even try. I understand that sometimes it's difficult. For me it's difficult. Finnish doesn't sound similar to any of those like 8 languages that I
Right.
know, like zero. It was the first actually time ever in my life when I came to a country, I was like, oh shit, I don't understand anything. Because usually if you speak Spanish, German, I don't know. If you speak German, you go to the Netherlands, you pick up something.
Yeah.
Also, like if you go to Sweden or Denmark, also you can pick up something. But now it's Finnish, and I'm like, it doesn't sound like anything at all. But it still doesn't stop me from trying to learn it.
So so are you currently in the process of learning?
Yeah, yeah.
What is your learning routine like? What are you?
Mostly Duolingo, not gonna lie, but
Right.
I also have some like extra books, and I took a class of Finnish for like 5 months, like elementary Finnish.
Okay.
But then I just don't have time for classes anymore, so I just learn it on my own, and I just try to push myself to speak Finnish when I can.
Yeah.
in the store, or I remember like my
Really?
first.
So you actually step out and you try speak it
Yeah, like
in...
my first proud moment was like when I for the first time understood the lady at the supermarket. She was like, haluatko pusseja, kuittia, you know, like, do you want a bag or do you want a check, like, or a receipt? I probably mispronounced that for sure, but I understood it and I was like, ei kiitos, hyvä
Hey.
päivä, you know? And then I left, I was like, yes, finally. I felt so
That's
proud,
awesome.
like I
Yeah.
understood it for the first time.
That's
So,
really cool. And I think you're all right. For me, it was kind of weird because when I first arrived here, I didn't want to live here. My plan was to be here for just a little bit of time and then travel somewhere else because
okay.
in my head I was like, what is Finland even?
I can understand.
And then as time went on and it became apparent that I'm going to, because I hated living here at one point. I really wanted to leave. And then and then when
Something happened.
yeah, then it was decided that I'm going to be staying. But the annoying thing, and this is not an excuse, I think it's more an understanding that I need to put more effort into my learning, is the fact that everything I interact with is in English. My work is in
Yeah.
English. The videos I make and stuff are in English. The people I hang out with speak in English. And that's the one aspect of it where I know I probably need to be a lot more firm in my decision to learn it, even if it's just a little bit, because I do think I sometimes miss important bits of information or
Yeah.
context or subtext.
Yeah, and you feel
Yeah.
better like when you even understand the context of people that like
Right?
talk in Finnish. You're like, I know this word and everything. It makes you feel much better. Like you start to like belong here more,
Yeah.
and you understand the people. So it was the same like with the Czech language for me also.
Oh,
When I
really?
started learning it and when I actually started speaking it, I felt like much better. But I think that in Czech Republic, I always stayed in this foreigner bubble. Even though I speak the language,
Right.
I know the culture, I know everything about Czech Republic. I was listening to Czech music,
Right.
watching Czech TV. So
Ah,
yeah, but I always only hanged out with foreigners. Of course, I have like couple of Czech friends, but
right.
I think, yeah, I don't know if I can call it like I don't think I failed to integrate because I know everything. I
Right.
speak the language. I know Prague. Like I never use Google Maps there. Like if
Really?
you tell me this is where I live, I go there. I know where it is. I don't need to like to check like maps
God
where it
damn.
is. Yeah.
So on top of speaking 9 languages, you've got photorealistic memory.
Maybe I'm a spy.
Before you moved to Finland, was sauna? Did you do saunas and stuff?
For me, before sauna was more like when you go to spa, you know,
Oh,
you go
right.
to sauna. It was more like kind of really like a rare thing that you do. And I remember like the first time I went to sauna in Czech Republic.
Uh-huh.
There was like this picture. You cannot go there with your clothes on.
Really?
And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
really?
I was like, no, like, what do you mean? It was the first time, like, I had this situation. And literally, I still had my towel on.
Right.
But then I entered, and everybody was naked there. And it was a Czech Republic. I was like, this is weird. I'm not doing this. Then, like, maybe 7 years later, I'm moving here to to Finland.
Uh-huh.
And then everyone is naked here in sauna. Like the first 2 times it felt weird,
Right.
but now it's weird when I see people in clothes in sauna. Like now,
Really?
yeah, and I have sauna in my building. I go there like twice a week.
Oh.
I really
hot
love
damn.
it. Yeah.
I really do love it too, But for some reason, at least for me, I prefer private saunas as opposed to sharing with random people. I mean, I've done it before on many occasions, but places like Sompa Sauna, for the people who don't know where that is, that's a public sauna place
Oh God.
here. So tell me the story
Yeah,
about
that
Sompa
place.
Sauna.
I mean,
You sound like you have a story about Sompa Sauna.
people were always telling me like, oh, there's this public sauna, a Sompa sauna, and I had it on my list, in my Google Maps. Yeah, I will go there one day. But one day, it was this year. It was like February or something like that. I was out with the guys from my band, and we went partying, and like we were drinking and everything, like full out.
Right.
And then I don't know how that happened, but I think we were in Kaiku, and they went outside.
And Kaiku's a bar.
It's a
bar.
club.
A club.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So they went outside, and I was waiting for them inside. I was like, there's no way I'm going outside. It was like minus 10 in a t-shirt. There's no way I'm doing that. So I was like waiting inside. And then somebody started talking to me like, hey, like, what are you doing in Finland? And it's like casual that Finns start talking about sauna. Like, oh, like this is the Finnish thing to do. Did you go to sauna? And
Right.
then my friends joined that conversation. And then I don't know how, but I just had this idea like, oh, like somebody asked me, have you been to Sompa sauna? I said, no, yeah, but I'm planning to go there. Let's go there now. And my friends were like, are you kidding? Like, it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, no, let's go now. I was like so hyped about it. I'm tired about people telling me about Sompa sauna, and I always have excuses why I still haven't been there.
Right.
So let's go there now. So it's 3 a.m. in the morning. We're like pretty drunk, and we're going there. So then we arrived there, and it was snow, ice, everything. It was like minus 10. It was freezing. And I was so naive. Like, I thought Sompa sauna is... I knew it's a public place, but I thought there's a place where you change, that there is some... I don't know, like, that it's like some building, you know? I had no idea that it's just a fucking lake and this, like, one cabin of sauna. And then when I arrived there, and I was like, guys, where do we change? Here, like, there was a bench and these hooks where you put your clothes, and it was outside. And I was like, it's minus 10. Are we really doing this? So you take all of your clothes off.
Yeah.
I never thought in my life I would ever do that. I never did like ice swimming. Never even planned to do that.
Right.
But then we go to the sauna, and there it was full. It was a bunch of Finns there. Everyone was Finnish there besides us, and we were having these like conversations and everything. And then these Finnish guys started to challenge me. Let's go ice swimming. I said, no way. For me, it was already like a big commitment to take my clothes off outside when it's minus 10. I never done it in my life. And then I did that.
Right.
Basically, there was this guy, he was like pushing me so hard. No, you have to do that. You're already here. He was like really obsessed about it. I was like, "Ugh, okay, I'll try."
Right.
So first time I go there, I just get in the water like till here. I was dying. It was so painful.
Yeah.
Then I went back to sauna. Then the next time I went back, and it was like till here. So every time was like increasing.
Oh, really? So you were going in... Okay.
Yeah, but these guys were so into it. They really wanted me to do it and make it an experience. And they were like, we will look out for you. Like, if you drown, we will help you. I was like, oh, thank you. You know, good to know. But then eventually I did it. So I made it to the water.
Full body submersion.
Yeah.
How did it feel afterwards?
I sobered up in seconds. Like all this shit that I drank that night, all the lonkeros, kosu, salmari, everything was there, like just disappeared. I was,
Really?
yeah, I came, like, I felt like I was baptized or something. It was that kind of experience. It was painful, I'm not gonna lie, but then you go back to sauna, and the way they did sauna, that's another topic. It just was steam everywhere.
Really? But
Yeah,
that
so
in a good
hot.
way. You mean it was too hot
It
or?
was too hot. I'm not used to it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because they're in Sompa sauna. For those who don't know, in Sompa sauna, there's a few different saunas in this area, and each are varying degrees of heat.
Yeah.
You get like the lighter one, and then you get the hotter,
Yeah,
and
that
then
was the hardest one.
oh
I
man.
hope so, but because if that was the lightest one, then I don't know what to expect.
I feel like some Finnish people are so like I don't know how their skin is able to handle that heat sometimes.
No idea.
Because when you're in the sauna and people throw heat on, apparently, I heard this, apparently the steam isn't making the sauna hotter. The steam is just adding more particles where the heat can transfer onto your skin. So basically the heat is the same, but the more water you put on, the more water vapor that gets created, then the hotter it feels to you. It's not that it's actually getting hotter.
Okay.
And for me in Sompa sauna when I went, and no, I did not. I was wearing shorts.
Oh, okay.
There was several people, at least on this particular day.
Yeah,
There was a bunch of people who were wearing clothes.
there is a twist in that story.
Oh, okay. What is the twist?
So, I go back to the sauna, and then, yeah, it was like steam everywhere and everything. So we were there till like maybe 5. I don't know.
Really?
I don't even know how long we were there. But then basically, I'm just telling to my friends, I'm done. Like I wanna eat. I was so hungry. Let's go to McDonald's.
Right.
So then we go to
That's
this.
not food. I'm joking.
Yeah, when you are drinking, that's pretty much food.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
but we go back to this bench where we left our clothes. So I start putting on my clothes and everything. So I put like everything like on the top and everything, and then I'm like, there's something missing, or I thought like maybe I dropped it. So I put the flash on my phone and I start searching, and my friends are asking me like, what are you looking for? I was like, guys, are you kidding me? Where are my pants? And they were,
Wait, like pants, like your actual.
no, underwear.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know my guys, like they would never mess with me like that. I was
Right.
like, that's not funny. Like where is it? Like
Right.
it's too cold. Like I just wanna like put everything on and just like
Oof.
get the hell out of there. Somebody stole it.
What?
My panties.
Are you being serious?
I went home with my ass freezing, and I had the thinnest like trousers ever.
Who
And
steals underwear?
I don't even want to know. Like it was just one of those fins. I don't know. Definitely not my friends. They would never do that. But yeah,
Oh,
we
no, that's-
searched everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. So I went back home with
It's
my
kind of weird.
yeah,
but-
ass freezing, and yeah, it was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was quite an experience. I was like, I was not even angry. I was just like, I want to get out of here. I just like want to be something warm, you know?
It sounds like one of those things, you know, when something happens that is just so inconvenient.
Yeah,
Where you-
that was a freaking inconvenient situation. That was. So if you are that Finn who did that,
Not good.
you better not bump into me like never.
No, but the whole sauna thing, I decided to go ice swimming on my own. At one point, I went to this one place in Helsinki. I forgot
I
the
saw
name.
the video you posted
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
And there's something about that sauna culture that I really love. like, excuse me, several things. I think the first thing is just, what the heck?
It's a cider. I also feel like this, like when you talk, I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
you're
just
not the.
burping the whole time. God damn,
It's the
relax, bro.
coffee. It's the coffee.
Yeah, it is. But there's something about that whole sauna culture that is just so beautiful. I don't know what it is for me, where you go in and usually when you're in there, everyone in the sauna with you is quite happy to talk, or if you do end up talking, or everyone is just really chill. It seems to
And
be
naked.
and naked, yes. It seems to be pretty sacred in a way. And then when you go out into the water, for me, the best way I can describe it is my body really doesn't want to do it. Everything, every cell in my body is screaming
You
against
have to
me.
force
It's like,
yourself.
don't do this. This is the stupidest thing. Why are you going to go in
Yeah,
there?
I had exactly
And
the
then
same.
when you go in, because there is a video of me stepping in. And when you actually do go in, it's as if your body from the inside, it's trying to make sure you stay alive. So everything comes awake.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it's unmatched. The feeling is unmatched when you get out. When you come out of the freezing water and then you've got that energy that rushes through you.
Yes.
That's awesome. But I
But
still
you
couldn't
did
do
it.
it every day.
But
Yeah.
is I understood that you did it like from the first try.
Mm.
You just went in the water. It took me like 3 or 4 attempts. Like first here, then here, then here. I couldn't do it right away. I really felt pain because I'm
Yeah.
not used to this. It was like first time ever. But yeah, I feel like it really gives you energy afterwards.
It does. I do think my scenario was a little different because the sauna place, my social media was slowly starting to grow at that point. And I sent them a message. I said, get me in for free and I will film my experience and I'll put it
That's cool.
for the world to see. And then they agreed. So I had the camera rolling before going in. I know it sounds kind of funny because it makes me sound like I'm just doing it for clout, but no, it's more pressure. Because I want to be able to look back at that video and say, I did it the first time. And for a while now, like I do cold showers in the morning. So, so, but the one thing I learned about the cold showers is to just accept that this is happening. I treat it like a ball rolling down a hill where no matter what I'm feeling on the inside, this is happening.
Yeah, like me in cold shower, I had this uh story that yes, I did ice bathing, but I'm not there to take cold showers in the morning. And I was once visiting my friend in Germany, and he takes those cold showers in the morning. He was like, "Oh, I started doing this. It's so amazing. It
Right.
gives you so much energy and everything." I was like, "I'm not doing this." It's like he was convincing me so much. And then I go showering, and this guy turns off hot water, and I just like have like a cold water pouring
Oh
on me.
God.
I was so mad. Like I was just like, I'm
Shit.
not doing, and I was like, I had shampoo in my head. It's not like I can just like stop and go. I just like had to go through it.
Yeah,
It was
no.
the worst experience ever. I was so mad. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's not cool. A part of the process of doing cold showers is the fact that you mentally prepare yourself and you accept it, right? So the only reason and I'm going to be honest with you, the only reason why I do it is there are parts of me that I know are so lazy. I can be, I genuinely can be the laziest person on the planet. I can feel that I just want to be lazy. So getting up in the morning and doing something like a cold shower, like I'll work out at home and getting into a cold shower, I'm doing the one thing I really don't want to do in the morning. And by breaking that barrier, I give myself a little bit of a chance to actually get some stuff done.
For me, it's so opposite. Like, I actually sometimes force myself to be lazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I have some of that,
It's
please?
horrible. It's horrible, really. I actually learned, started like kind of learning this year how to be lazy,
Really?
because since my childhood, I was brought up in the way that you always have to do something, you always have to be productive. And any kid that grew up in a Slavic or country from like post-Soviet countries can totally relate to that. Yeah, like you always had to be productive. If you don't do anything, that means like you're useless. You're just
What?
like wasting your time.
Right. What do you mean by productive? What is the definition of productive?
So you had to do like sports is good, of course, but there was always expectations that you had to achieve something in your sports. You had to study always. Like you always had to work on something. So if you have like a one day that you don't do something, it was always like you are just, I don't know, not wasting your time, but it was always like kind of this, you have to work and always do that. And
Right.
that's kind of, it's still kind of with me. I do million things. I work, I dance, I have a band, I have to manage my social media. And only now I really start to like, okay, stop and really try to pick something that you like the most. And it's okay if there is a day that you don't feel like doing anything. It's okay. Maybe you're just tired, or maybe you just don't feel like doing something. And I learned not to feel guilty for that, because before, if I would just stay in the bed all day or just at home not doing anything, I felt like it's another day wasted. I didn't achieve anything today. So I learned to be lazy sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, like now if I'm on the couch and I just, I don't know, watch a TV or something, I don't feel guilty anymore about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an important lesson, and it makes sense. I think for me, what's the best way to put this? You know, when someone explains to you how they became a professional musician, it sounds like this linear story where they weren't good and then they become really good at one point, whatever. For me, when it comes to my life in general, I feel like I can zoom out a lot of the time and see a linear path. Say, I started social media on this day, and now I've got followers and whatnot. But in practice, the day to day work of it, I don't feel like I've been working super hard. I'm always constantly battling with myself, and because I try and post once a day.
You post a lot.
Yeah, I do. So there will be times when I don't feel like I am being super, what's the word? When you wanting to do stuff.
Productive.
Yeah, productive.
Yeah.
There are times when, I mean, I don't feel super productive. It's just something I need to do and I have to get through it. And so I can look back and be like, hey, I actually got things done. But in the moment, I feel very guilty for not wanting to do the stuff. Those are so I do end up doing stuff, but I feel like I'm constantly wrestling with this idea of feeling like I'm lazy. I feel like I should be more
Do you
focused.
consider social media as your work? I think in a way every content creator has
Yeah.
this.
Why don't you answer that question first? Do you view it as
I
your work?
I started like the whole social media thing in Finland happened super random.
Oh, tell me about that because you
I
had a video that went viral, right?
Yeah, like I didn't expect it to be like I didn't have a goal like I'm gonna become TikToker or whatever.
Right.
It's just when I moved to Finland, everything was so like new to me
Yeah.
and in a way weird and a way interesting. Like for me, Finland is a completely different planet if I compare it to like where I grew up or where I lived in Czech Republic, for example. So even like when I walk in the street and I see a huge rock, I'm like, why? You know, this is like a stupid example, but this is something that you wouldn't randomly see in Prague, for example, or in Uzbekistan.
So you see the differences in little things.
Yeah, exactly. Or some like shoe brush in front of the entrance to the building. I was like, why is it here? Until winter hit, I'm like, now I know why
Now
it's
you
here.
understand.
So I started kind of documenting everything. I think it all started with this trend. Things that make sense. This
I think I know what you're
the
talking about.
Italian one, the sound,
Yes,
and
yes.
basically it started with things that only happen in Finland, for example, or things that make sense in Finnish neighborhood. And then I filmed this like shoe brush, then the random like huge rock that looks like the asteroid. I don't know.
So just like normal
Yeah, like for
things.
Finns it's normal. For me, it's like super weird. And then I started kind of documenting my experience, and I started getting this following, and I really got into it. And Finnish people really like to see a different perspective
Right.
from foreigners, and they always ask questions. They're so curious, and even sometimes I talk about some things that they usually like wouldn't notice in like their normal life because that's how
Right.
they grew up. But for me, it's crazy. So that's how it all started. But I try not to get too obsessed with social media. So if I have an idea or if I see something that I can talk about or compare to something, I do that. But it's not like I sit at home, I'm like, oh, I haven't posted for like 3 days. I need to like, probably you are like this. Because you
Well,
post every day, and I'm
yeah.
always like, is it just something that comes on your mind, or do you
Yeah.
literally think like sit with your notebook on this couch and like, yeah, this is what I need to talk about, or
I mean, it depends. So, so to answer, so your answer to the question is that it's not, it doesn't feel like a job for you.
no? I take it easy.
Okay.
Go with the flow.
Right. I think for me, it is a little bit different because for me, I also started just posting little clips, things that affected me differently here in Finland, being from South Africa. And I think one day I just realized, because as a musician, I realized that I was terrible at promoting my stuff. I was just, and I was very self aware and, should I say, lightly insecure about my music, which is kind of weird.
Same.
So, right. So I told myself that I'm going to need to take some time to learn how social media works.
And you got
So,
it.
yeah. So I told myself, I first started on TikTok. I told myself I'm going to post at least twice a day, but 4 times a day for a month.
Twice a day.
4 times.
Oh my god.
So, and but the thing is, it's TikTok. So the thing about TikTok is that it pushes your content out to different people all the time. So I didn't feel the pressure I would have on Instagram, say, where it seems to actually send your stuff to some of your real followers. So that's how I started. I was just posting and learning a bunch of things. But now the way I've changed it, because it depends on what you want to do with it in the future. So I'm building a brand my brand. I want to be able to have these sort of conversations. I want to talk about Finland. I also talk philosophy. I talk history, politics, a mixture of a bunch of things. Yeah, the book over there. A mixture of a bunch of things, you know. So the reason why I'm able to post so consistently, though I did not post today as of the recording of this video, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. But the reason why I'm able to do that is that number one, I write out ideas whenever I get them. I've got a notebook. I'll jot down
I have the same, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is, a lot of the time I try and make social media an extension of my expression as a person. So I could be sitting down and feeling a certain way, but then I would take that feeling, almost like writing a song. I'll take that feeling and condense it into something that I can share with people.
I actually have one on my list, and probably we can do that now.
Oh, yeah?
So, what's my name?
Asalya, why?
How was it?
Asalya?
Okay, it's better because the first time
Eliza.
Eliza, or like I have so many names in Finland, and I literally like wrote it down yesterday.
You put me on the spot there. I was like, oh shit. I'm literally going to get your name wrong live.
You got it wrong like 3 times, and even like when I walked this door, you said, how did you call me? Yeah, Eliza or something like that. Yeah.
No, because your name, the way it's written, for some reason, it's just not connecting with my brain.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the way it looks is, I don't know.
It's different name.
For the record, say it properly for everyone to hear.
So it's Asalya.
Asalya.
Yes.
I was putting the Z.
Yeah, I have like so many versions of my name here. So Alasya, Aslaya, Alisa, Asalya. This is how you called me when you came to my party.
Asalya.
Like, yeah, something like that.
No way.
And you said it so like insecure. It's like, hi, Asalya. Like, you didn't know how to pronounce my name. I don't blame you.
No, I'm pretty sure. I actually asked you. Wait,
yeah,
how do
that's like the second thing you asked me. How do I pronounce your name? Like, yeah, great. Let's start with that.
It's so unfair because I've got a super easy name.
Chico.
Yeah, I know. Now you just boasting like, the fact that you can just say it so easily. What do you think about Finnish names?
I mean, they're different.
Yeah.
There is, I don't know if I have I don't know why I have 2 male names that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like now I just thought about it. Both of the names are like the 2 guys from my band. So I don't know if that's coincidence, but like Mikko and Lauri are like my 2 favorite Finnish names.
Right.
Maybe it's related that they are like my bandmates, but I don't know. I think it sounds cool. There was another Finnish male name that I liked. So Mikko, Lauri, I don't know.
Interesting.
But female, Laura, I think it's Finnish. Is it Finnish? No.
Yeah.
I think it's more like international though.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't say it Laura. In English, you would say Laura.
Laura, yeah.
That's one thing I've had to change. Because you have an English way of saying things and a Finnish way of saying things.
Yeah, I don't know if there is any female name that I like.
For me, it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
And no offense to anyone who has a Finnish name, but I've always found Finnish names, male names, really jarring to the ear. They don't seem to have any flavor. Like the food. I'm joking.
Yeah, that's gonna be a separate conversation.
And I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not.
Okay, just say the name. Just say the name.
No, like even the names you mention, like words that are kind of sharp and rigid, like Mikko.
That's how Finns
Like,
talk
yeah,
also.
I know. Pekka.
Yeah,
God
Pekka. Oh
damn.
yeah, Pekka is like
Yeah, I know Pekka very well. I've got a Pekka friend.
okay.
He's my he's my body double. He's in my videos. You know, whenever I put the blonde wig in my videos, that's Pekka. That's
There's a one I don't want to say weird Czech name, but a Czech male name that always kind of like. How did you even come up with this name? Jiří.
oh, sounds like a disease.
That's funny. Like
I've got Jiří.
officially you are Jiří, but people call you Honza.
What?
Yeah, that's even more confusing.
Wait, I've actually seen. I think I've got a Honza following me on Instagram.
That's his name. Your real name is Jiří.
Really?
Oh no, wait. Jan is Honza. Yes, if it's Jan, then it's Honza, not Jiří. Jiří is Jirka, like the.
I feel like let me just. There we go.
I think Jan is Honza, not Jiří, but
Right.
yeah, that's the name that I was always like, oh.
And to I guess to pivot into something a little bit more. I know we spoke about it a little bit last time. So coming here to Finland and the Russian connection that you have within your blood, right? Have you found that a problem here
No.
right now?
Yeah, and that's something that I was really, I was amazed how, at least that was my experience, how people are not, like Finnish people are not like judging you by where you're from. I know many people might say like, no, like that people are not like this and so on, but at least that's my experience. My last year in Czech Republic, especially when the war happened, it was difficult as a Russian speaker. I was, for example, having a lot of like harassments on the street. I was walking and talking to my mom on the phone in Russian, and there were people screaming at me like, go back to Russia, even though I'm not from Russia. Like I just have like roots from Russia, from Russia, and people were calling me daughter of Stalin, daughter of Putin.
What?
And I was really scared speaking Russian. And it's even weird because in my like blood or ancestry, I have more like Ukrainian blood than Russian, and
Right.
I spent a lot of time in Ukraine growing up because my grandma is from Ukraine, so I
Right.
spent a lot of time in Kiev, Odessa, Dnieper, like Crimea when it was back then it was Ukraine, and so I grew up kind of between two nations. And when people really scream at you and harass you without even knowing where the fuck you're from,
Yeah.
I found it so like it was hurting me a lot.
Yeah.
And I actually lost a friend because of war. Not because he or she died. It's just I had this Russian friend from my university, and we were really close.
Yeah.
We were hanging out a lot. We were like best friends. And the moment war happened, she just blocked me everywhere. And
What?
we supposed to hang out like
You didn't. It wasn't. You didn't have an
we
argument.
didn't even have any conversation. It's just I don't even know how that happened.
So she's Russian.
Yeah, she's I guess I don't even know. I never spoke to her like after that. I guess she supports that, but
Yeah.
I don't. And
Yeah.
I mean, imagine you have a best friend and you have plans to hang out and the war happens and then you just lose your friends and without having in any conversation or argument. There was no argument, there was no conversation. And I was really pissed, and I wrote her, you know that I have family still living in Ukraine, and you never asked how I felt about it. And I felt like shit. I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything, because I still have my family from my grandma's side. I have friends living there. I was devastated from what was happening, but I still have friends from Ukraine and from Russia, and I, of course, if the person is supporting the war, I don't support that, so it's, I'm probably not gonna talk to this person, but
Right.
without having any conversation or argument, the person just blocks you.
Yeah.
And I don't, it hurt me a lot, because if we would at least have that conversation, then maybe it would like be a closure or something,
Right.
that there is a reason. Of course there is no obvious reason why we don't talk anymore, but it was so weird for me that the person can just cut off everything, all the fun, all the friendship. And that friendship was like for 8 years.
Really.
Yeah, we went to the same university, we were in the same class pretty much, so
And she lived. Did you live in the same country at that point?
yeah, she still lives in Czech Republic, but we never talked. No, and I as much as I would want, I wouldn't talk to her anymore. How she did me, so yeah.
You do bring up a very important point of. I feel, especially when it comes to things like politics or things that are so divisive online, I feel like people are in different camps. Number one group likes to demonize a whole group of people, which I always think that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, of course, there are some very different cases, like the Nazis in World War II.
Yeah.
I will demonize all of them for obvious reasons. But when it comes to, like, I've kept my commentary on the war very low, simply because I don't understand all the very little details
Yeah.
and things, you know?
I think that talking about it is important,
Yeah.
but if you don't kind of, I wouldn't basically judge you if you wouldn't talk, if you don't talk about it on your social media. Let's say
Yeah.
if you don't take side or anything, I wouldn't tell you anything, because you didn't grow up in any of these places.
Yeah.
Like, it, of course it affects everyone,
Yeah.
but there was this kind of thing that if you didn't post on anything on social media, that means you just don't care. But it doesn't mean,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't mean like that. Like, I also didn't post anything for a long time, not because I fucking cared, but I was hurting.
Yeah.
Because my friends were trapped. Some of my friends and family had to go and fight in the war, and they're still doing that. I lost contacts with some of the people that I have no idea what happened to them. I don't
Right.
even know if they're alive, but it's just I think that, for example, in the case of Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan is has very close ties to Russia.
Yeah.
So we were historically besties and everything. And for example, I don't understand people who say I'm neutral, or I don't have saying, or I don't have any opinion on that, while having a family living in one of these countries. I'm like, this is not the times when you can just, I don't know how you can just move on and not talk about it. Especially now, the power of social media, you have to talk about it. You have to show people the truth. And
Yeah.
I was, the news I'm getting here in Europe and the news people get in Uzbekistan is completely different.
Yeah.
I hear one story, they hear another. And I used to blame people. I was so pissed when I was going back there and saying like, how can you think this way? Like, how can you support it? But then it's just what they're being fed, you know, like this is what media feeds them and makes them believe. And then
Yeah.
I literally had like the whole night conversations with like my family and friends, educating them on what actually happened. So I'm not a person who would just tell you, no, you're wrong, you
Yeah.
have to switch. I have to like explain to you my side, my opinion, and go through some facts and evidence, you know, what actually happened.
Yeah.
That's how I basically convince people. But I really think that talking about politics is important,
Yeah.
especially if you belong to one of these nations. And
Yeah.
it's a very also difficult and in a way like controversial topic to talk about.
Especially here in Finland, Finns get really fired up about all this because of obviously their history with Russia.
Yeah.
And I think for me, part of the reason why I've tried to watch it from afar. And before I continue with that, how you're saying the pressure to post on social media, it was the exact same thing when the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened.
Okay.
And everyone needed to post a black square on social media. And I even remember having a little bit of a confrontation with someone I know and love who told me, hey, why are you not posting? You're black too. Like this
Yeah.
is and I did post, and I later deleted the post because it made me feel not
It
very
just kind
good.
of, it was more like of course there is a meaning for it. It happened like it was horrible what was happening, right? But then it kind of turned into some kind of, I really don't want to say this word, but it turned
Cult?
into the trend.
Oh yeah.
There were some people who were posting on TikTok and Instagram about Black Lives Matter without even knowing like why. Like this, the
Yeah.
whole story. They just wanted to be like, oh, like this dude or girl posted that, probably I should do the same. Without
Yep.
even knowing the
Do you
whole
need any?
history. I still have.
Oh, sorry.
Without even knowing the context. So I think that if you post something like political or similar on your social media, you have to be first aware of like where it's coming from and be
Yep.
very educated on this topic.
Yeah, you know what? For me, I will say I've become very skeptical about, and it sounds terrible. A week, you can fill up if you want.
It's
Oh,
I'm good.
okay.
I'm pretty tipsy already. But let's talk about politics.
Yeah. I think for me, if I can just lay my cards out on the table a little bit,
Yeah.
is that when it comes to politics, there are certain things that I genuinely dislike that I think cover up what reality is like in general. I think in a lot of cases, in a lot of things, especially when things are political and there are multiple countries involved, things do get complicated. There's a lot of nuance, and this isn't in any way to, I'm not saying that as a cover for when things terrible do happen, but if you want to dive into the realm of politics, you have to understand the fact that there are nuances to things. It's very rarely completely and absolutely starkly black and white. There's a lot of gray. You've got America involved, which just complicates a bunch of things, and then you've got money involved, and then you've got someone who wants to take over a certain area of a country, and all these things just complicate things. And when people start viewing politics as in, this is completely, these guys are completely good, these guys are completely bad,
Yeah.
then politics stops being politics and becomes more like a religious
Yeah.
thing, or a fervent belief. I've spoken to people who believe so strongly, but when you press them on the details, they can't tell you anything. So I'm like, then what are you passionate about if you
Yeah.
don't actually know the real reasons for things happening?
This is what I do usually when something like that happens, like some, let's say, important moment in the history. I try to read new. That's where all my like 8 languages come useful. I try to read about it from different sources in different languages.
Okay.
So I always try to read about what both sides are saying to kind of form my opinion, because I know like nowadays politics is so complex. They can just sell you this idea. They can make you like zombies, and they want to make you believe this
Yep.
this thing, and then if you are sometimes they make you like a zombie. So some
Yep.
people are like, you tell them this happened because of that, and they believe it right away. I don't function that way. I have to literally research, get more facts about it, learn
Yeah.
about it more to actually start speaking about it.
Yeah.
And that helps me a lot to like form my own opinion and to really understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult topic, but I think that everyone should be more educated on that and not jump straight to the conclusion. So every country has its own benefit when they sell their story, you know.
Yep.
But when you start reading about the same topic from like different perspective, it can be in a way like an eye opening.
It can, and because I'm on Twitter quite a lot, or it's not called X. It's probably the what was that face? Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like yeah, this whole X thing, but yeah.
but point is, I'm on there quite a lot, and I know there's a lot of Elon Musk derangement syndrome. People love to hate other people for things that aren't even true a lot of the time, but regardless, that can be something we can circle back to. But on there, I get news fresh all the time and from different perspectives, all at the same time. Like when things happen, and by the time they're on TikTok, someone had to film something and edit it and put it out. But on Twitter, it all just happens super quick. And I follow a bunch of different people from different political spectrums. And the one thing that has really blown me away is the fact that I can read the same story from two different perspectives, and I'm blown away at just how different they represent both sides of their story. Where to this point now, I find it very difficult to trust what I hear. When I listen to mainstream media, I hear a certain thing. Once I'm like, okay, they're talking about this video of this lady going crazy and they're calling her a Karen, and then I'll take the full video, I'll find the full video and watch the whole thing, and I'll be like, wait, he stabbed her dog.
That's the thing, like people forgot about verifying the information. Like I studied international relations,
Okay.
and like my university was really strict about like what I write and what I say. I always had to like back it up with evidence.
Right.
And that still kind of stuck with me. So if somebody says on any social media like platforms, so this happened because of that, I don't take it immediately that that's what exactly happened. So if I'm really like concerned about it, I go and read more about it. But there's some people like you can manipulate people so much on social media. You can say that, oh, this person said that and they did that, and then that person gets canceled. Like this whole cancel culture, like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure somebody will take something out of context from like what we were talking about today,
Oh yeah.
and they will like cancel us, and I'm like, try canceling me. should try.
I don't know. I find it. I feel like the world we live in now, and this is gonna be kind of odd to say, but I'll just say it anyway. I feel like we really worry about people's feelings
Yeah.
to a degree where it's not self-esteem anymore. Self-esteem is something that you have within yourself. You've got a foundation, you're grounded. People can say whatever, but you've got self-esteem. The way the world is going now is that for saying one thing that someone might disagree with, in their minds, it destroys their whole identity. I'm like, who are you that you're basing your entire identity on what some random Joe will say on the
Usually
internet?
those are the people who sit on the couch and just like, yeah, this cancel culture is just, it's scary.
It is.
And of course, it's good to be careful what you say, but sometimes it's just people take it out of the context and try to make it something sensational, something super controversial.
Yep.
I don't think it happened to me yet. I'm pretty sure it will happen at some point. But
I've had some moments.
Really?
Yeah, because I sometimes like posting some spicy things every now and then
Where?
on Instagram.
Ugh, okay.
So, and part of my reason of having long form conversations, part of the reason why it took me so long was that I was quite afraid, to be honest.
What did you say? Why were you canceled?
No, I mean,
Oh,
I
you
wasn't.
were not yet.
I wasn't canceled, but I'm saying I've posted some things where some people have had some very strong reactions to it,
What was it
negative
about?
or positive. I've spoken about a bunch of different things. I have spoken about racism, my view on it here in Finland.
I think I saw that. I think it was a video about like if somebody looks at you in the bus.
Yes, that was one
Yeah.
conversation that I had, but I've done many other videos like that before.
I think I had one video actually, but it came out of nowhere. I just went to this shop in Tripla, and it just has like all the Finnish things, like canned bear or like a reindeer sausage, something like that.
Right.
For me, it's weird. Like I never saw this stuff, and I made this video again. These like things that make sense in Finland, but it was like weird. The title was like weird things that I found in Finland, and I was showing the canned bear. Then there was
canned bear, like bear the animal.
Yeah. You see, like for us it's weird, and people in the comments they're like, I grew up eating bear like in Lapland. I was like, yeah, like
That is weird.
yeah, if you go to Uzbekistan and you see canned horse, you would be like, yeah, that's weird.
Do you
For
guys
us,
have canned horse?
Yeah. But for us it's like normal. But I didn't
Right.
say that it's weird in a bad way.
Did people get angry?
Yeah, people were like, yeah, this is, you're in my place and you call it weird. This is how I was like, oh my God, just fucking chill. I didn't say it in the wrong way. It's like, it was the same when you tried this Uzbek cheese thing.
Oh yeah. Maybe
Like-
I'll show a little video of that.
Yeah, I know, like for foreigners, it's disgusting. It's a weird taste. And you said like it tastes or smells like an ass. Like I wasn't offended. Like I know it's different, but
Right.
like I didn't tell you like, oh, you're like disrespectful. My whole family was laughing at that video. It's just like a different perspective. There are things that are weird to you because you grew up in a different planet.
Right.
And yeah, like same would be like for Finns that go to Uzbekistan, like they will find even more weird things that I would find here. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, that cheese stuff that you gave me was very difficult to deal with. But to go back to the whole cancel culture stuff, I feel like my prescription is usually to teach people to be strong within themselves and to. I walk around life personally not expecting anything from anyone. I expect people to not want to be my friends. I don't say that like in a cynical way. I'm saying that if it turns out all my friends turn and they turn around and they're like, hey, we actually don't want to hang out with you, it will hurt. But a part of me has already accepted that could be a possibility. So I don't expect the world around me to, I guess, what's a
To
good word?
like you or something.
Yeah, to solidify my identity. So there was something weird in terms of cancel culture. Have you heard of Rikapura?
No.
So I've been taking a little step into Finnish politics. So
Okay.
Rikapura is Finland's current finance minister, and she's of course part of
Oh,
the
it's a woman.
yeah.
I
Or
don't
did
know
you
why,
think it
like,
was
I
a
thought
dude?
it's a guy, yeah.
No, no, she's part of the conservative
Okay.
coalition, whatever. Someone will probably fact check me in the video. But the story went that they found old tweets and old comments of hers, right? And usually, personally, I'm always really against the idea of finding really old shit someone says and then using them against the person. But I do think when you are getting into politics, it's part of the game. People will try and find things, and especially if your job is to try be a uniter, you need to be clever. You need to get ahead of some of those things. Come out and be like, "Hey, listen, guys, I did say some wild shit in
That's
the."
why I always delete everything.
It's really, it's like, "Hey, yo, I did say some wild shit back in the day. I own up to it. I completely dis disassociate myself from those past comments." The only problem is she didn't do that, right? And
Okay.
she and the conservative party, the Kukomos or whatever they're called, they were already unpopular with a certain demographic of Finnish people. So this was just, this was a piece of meat to a lion. This was something. So the comments that she'd said, and I made a video about it. She said some pretty wild things, like
An
like
example?
um. So I'm trying to think of a good example. Yeah, she said something along the lines of she was in public transport or something, and there were these young black guys there, and she said something along the lines of, "If I had a gun, they would all be dead," or something like that.
What?
I know I'm quoting it badly, but yeah, you can check it. She also said something like, "Do you? Does anyone else want to go and beat N-word children on the street or something?" So you see, it's very hard to defend. It's very hard to defend, and so she said some of those things, and the full context of most of her statements don't make it seem any better, unless I am proven wrong. But it was just bad things to say, and so I made a video talking about that where I was saying this is bad, and
Obviously.
didn't like she didn't like fully commit to apologize. She kind of made like an apology, kind of along the lines of like, yeah, I'm kind of sorry, but hey,
Yeah, just not to
I'm
get cancelled, probably. But she
yeah,
didn't
but
really mean it.
yeah, she didn't seemingly at least the people who were angry at her felt like she didn't mean it. And I thought that was really silly because I mean, they were voted into power for a reason. The Finnish people wanted a different government. But then you have people who really defend her, and I'm saying you don't have to agree with everything, even if it's someone that you want in power, you can be like, yeah, that was messed up, but I'm still vibing with you. I don't know. I find the divisive nature of politics.
This is really messed up. I I don't know like how you felt, for example, for like when people really say these kind of things.
Oh, like the N
This
word and stuff.
yeah, this might be really like I don't understand how not just these days but at all people can really say these things.
Yeah.
Like why do you differentiate people by the color, or why do you discriminate people by the color? I think this is something that I would never tolerate. For
Yeah.
example, I that's something that I never understood. Like why people even do that?
Yeah. I think it could be that sometimes, like Finland's situation as an example, things can get a little complicated because, say, you've got a lot of asylum seekers coming into the country,
Yeah.
as an example, right? And it's true, a lot of the people actually they're in a tough spot. And then you have one group of, or one portion of the society that are like, hey, cool, but just can we be a little bit more stricter? Can we vet the people, make sure that they are not
Yeah.
criminals or any of those sort of things? So then you have certain people who end up coming here and say their values are very different to here. Let's say they come from a country that practices some religion that perhaps views women differently or something along those lines, and then they come here and let's say this type of person doesn't integrate and they
Yes.
create their own little bubble. And so then some people living here will look at that and they might be upset about the fact that the culture is not being respected here. They're not trying to integrate. But by commenting on that, they are seen and viewed as racist as well. There is that side. And of course, there is plainly people who are just racist, obviously. But it's just, there is that, and people need to be cognizant of that, that sometimes the issue doesn't necessarily have to do with the color, but a lot to do with the cultural differences
Yeah.
sometimes.
And I think integration is the key. And um, if you come from that's what I believe, that if you come from a completely different culture or religion, as a refugee, or not even just refugee, or for whatever reason to another country, integration is the key. You have to integrate with the society. You have to understand the people, and I think countries that really put refugees in this camp and kind of limit them to this integration, that's where things start failing. That's one side. I don't want to like blame only the government how they fail things, but also there are people that just don't want to integrate.
Yep, it's
And
true.
that's
Yeah.
another problem. I think that I grew up in a country where we have many religions and nations living together,
Right.
and we didn't and still don't have this problem that we don't discriminate each other or anything like that. We live together because people integrate pretty well. But if you just take people from one country, put them to another country, and you just put them in those camps where they don't integrate and still live kind of the same lifestyle as they lived before, but in a different country, that's where the problem starts. So I think that's the main reason where things start kind of cracking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also I don't know, where would you say you sit politically, if you can even say such a thing? Are you? I know America loves to use right and left, and even here, but things are so much murkier now.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult. Say, you seem, at least from speaking to you now, you seem to be someone who just wants to know what's the actual truth
Yeah.
and then make a decision off that, which everyone should be like that. But did I describe you right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the way I see politics right now, it's everything is so messed up right now,
It
and
is.
I really don't know who to believe. I think right
Yeah,
now politics is a game, and
it
it's a
is.
money game. I
Yep.
think before there was like a distinct like line between economics, finance, like money, all the money stuff, and politics.
It's all mixed.
Now it's more about money. It's not even mixed.
Right.
It's just money.
Right. Fair.
So sometimes we're like sold some story just for the benefit of something, and it's I
Yeah.
really don't know who to believe, and I
Oh
know I'm
yeah.
kind of like deviating from the question, and like you asked me a direct question like where do I stand in the politics, and I honestly I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm I'm just like so confused with everything what's happening right now, and I really don't want to be like, oh, this is like where I am now, and then change. I really try to kind of form
Right.
my own stand, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't definitely don't support any of the wars that are happening right
Yeah.
now. I feel like it's so ridiculous that I feel like we are going backwards to like few centuries where
Yeah.
people fight for territories and for resources and everything, and I just find it ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think I do agree with you. I also don't know who to trust most of the time. And for certain things, for especially for certain subjects in particular, like for example, with the war happening and stuff, I have listened to news from two different sources on certain aspects of it. And I come out more confused than ever. And I feel like the West does a lot of moral posturing. They try and show, look how good we are. But a lot of the
While things
time,
are
they don't
cracking.
have morality. So it's like moral posturing without the actual morality is how I view politics in general. It's all about
Money.
money is a big
It's a
thing, but
mind game and
yeah,
money.
like on Twitter, which Twitter has this thing that is called community notes, which I find quite interesting. So if someone posts a picture of, I don't know, Donald Trump walking in a jacket, if that is AI generated or it's fake, people can actually comment at the bottom and community note it and say, hey, this is actually really fake.
Wow.
It's not real. And that has been really helpful for certain things. Like I've seen a video, they're like, oh, look at this black guy getting beaten up by all these white kids. And I'm like, oh shit. And then at the bottom it says, this is a scene from a movie. This is actually not a real
Yeah,
thing.
I really try to be careful with what I see on social media, and I'm really not a person who like takes it as it is. So if I see something is happening, I'm not like, oh yeah, like this is horrible. Of course, like, but I try to research and really like because there's so much like fake shit happening on
Right?
TikTok and everywhere, and I'm just lost, like literally who to believe and what is actually truth or not.
Like, can
So
someone tell me the truth about climate change and how, like, Whoa. And can someone tell me the truth about overpopulation? Are we overpopulating or underpopulating? I feel like no matter where you go, you'll hear two completely different things.
We are too many people for sure.
For example, here in Finland, they actually now have to start trying to hire international people because there's too many old people now and there aren't enough young people to fill all the jobs. Same thing in Japan, Korea, the UK, and parts of the US. Africa, on the other hand, is still able to be sustainably growing.
Yeah, I think that they want more people here. But when you look for jobs, they never fucking respond to you. Like, I'm
Here in
sorry.
Finland?
Yeah. Like this was my like big struggle, and yeah, I'm just like confused about this whole job situation here.
What? How are you finding the job hunting here? What's
Literally, like when I moved here, well, I got a job obviously like before I moved here, but the company where I work at, they were the only ones out of like thousands of companies I applied to. And it's not like I don't have any experience on anything. I worked in like a very big prestigious company before that sold me this thing like, oh, like if you work for this company, then your future is settled. This didn't matter here at all. Like,
right?
no, it was.
Do you think it was what do you think the reasons for that are?
I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea. This is like so surprising to me. It's not like I just had like interview with that one company that eventually hired me.
Yeah.
I didn't even have other companies getting back to me.
Because what field were you trying to go into?
I mean, I have experience working in procurement,
Okay.
business management mostly.
Right.
So I kind of continued that. But yeah, I'm just confused about this whole job hunting thing here.
Yeah, I think you raise a fair point. I found when I moved here, I found it quite easy to get like one of the lower tier jobs, like waitering and working in a restaurant. I found that fairly easy to get. But whenever I wanted to get something in tech or social media or something along those lines, I agree with you. I did find that a little difficult too. And I went to all these, they would have these seminars where they would talk about how to find a job in Finland by, I forgot the company. It's a government owned company that helps job seekers. I forgot the name. But this guy who was talking, he said that the tip of the iceberg of finding jobs is all the stuff you find on the internet. And he said the 90% is who you know.
This is what I realized as well here, that you should know people.
Yeah.
But if you're not even here, like, yeah, how this is happening? But yeah,
And in your job, how do you find the people you work with?
I work in like, I don't know if it's still considered a small company. It's like around 200 something people, but
That is huge.
yeah. I mean,
I work in a company with like 7 people.
I come from a company where there was like 50,000 people working.
Oh,
so
God.
for me now
Right.
it's like so much smaller, but yeah, people are very supporting here. I can't say anything like negative about it. It's a way more relaxed, I would say, working atmosphere than when I worked for an American company.
Oh yeah. Do you feel treated fairly by
Yeah.
in all aspects, being a woman, not being foreign, all
Yeah.
those things?
Yeah.
You haven't felt like you were treated differently at all?
Not at all. No,
Yeah.
no, I feel really safe in my work environment. So
That's really cool. I think it's the same thing for me. One thing I noticed about living here in Finland is the relationship the bosses have with the workers seems so much more chill here, at least in the industries I've worked in. The
there's
boss,
no micromanagement here.
yeah, and the boss isn't like arriving like, yo, I'm the boss, and everyone's like, oh shit, the boss is here. Act like you're doing your work. Here, at least, I haven't noticed that. I feel like everyone is just, yeah, it's the boss, but who cares? I'm doing my work, so
Yeah, I tried kind of like when I just started working, and I started working like at a pretty young age, but like my first experience working in a big corporate life, I was so like motivated. I was like, oh, I need to like go from junior to senior, from senior to manager, from manager to director. I was like, I need to like
oh
go
wow,
up all the time. I was so like uh passionate about it.
right,
But then I don't know, I just like had some kind of, I don't know, realization or something like why?
right,
Like if I go from senior to manager, does it make me a happier person?
right. It's true. I mean, the money is better, but so is the work, perhaps.
But
I
the
mean,
thing is
harder.
that, of course, like money is better, but then I realized that I'm not spending more. Of course, I save more money, but it's not like I really stopped chasing this bigger paycheck
Really.
thing.
What
Yeah.
I want to be rich as all hell.
What are you gonna do when you get your first million
No,
dollars?
to explain it better, it's not. I'm not searching for money for validation or anything. For me, money is freedom to
For me,
do.
money is to afford buying equipment for my band. That's all,
Yeah,
and
remember,
pay the rent.
if you're a millionaire, that would be no. In all honesty, it's not even about the number. For me, I grew up in a really poor home. I grew up knowing what it was like to go to sleep hungry. I grew up always looking at people who seem to have a much easier time going through life simply because they freaking had cash. And it sounds like a stupid thing, but I've noticed that there's so many things I've gone through in my life that I wouldn't have needed to go through if my parents were at least wealthy enough to take care of things. And it's probably something I have to mentally work through and make sure it's not a toxic
Yeah.
thinking pattern in my head. And I'm very aware of that. But I genuinely desire the ability to not have to think about my bank account.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want the freedom to do that, and I want the freedom to be able to really take care of my parents. And
So you had this motivation to like to make more money to to help your parents, yourself, and to be more
yeah,
like independent and
yeah, and but sometimes I feel like I take it so hard on myself. Sometimes I say I went out like I did, and I
last
used
night.
way too much money, which is easy to do here.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah.
I felt so terrible about myself.
Yeah.
But but that being said, I do want to make money, but I want to make money in a way that isn't. I want to make money in a way where I can still earn cash even while I sleep. I so because we are used to you know, you give up time in your life for a company, and then they pay you with the time of your life with money.
True.
And that's literally what we do. We selling our existence for a certain amount of time. That's why when you start getting into the arts, things get more interesting because you play a show, you know, you release music. All people, you making cash while you sleep. Well, when your music is online and stuff,
True.
and when you're big enough, people want anything that you have to offer, whether it's a shirt or a vinyl, anything like that. And that for me feels like a really cool way to earn money. But in the process of earning money, I want to help people.
I think it feels like more like a reward, you know, that people appreciate your art and the work you do,
Yeah.
and then you get money for it.
What are some of the biggest differences, the biggest changes of having moved here? And because I know you on your social media, you're like, guys, what the f is this? But are there any areas of your existence in this place that I guess when you first moved here were really like a big culture shock?
I had to learn how to be by myself or
Oh yeah,
lonely.
yeah.
That's something I didn't experience before because I was always surrounded by so many people, and every day I could do many different things with like different friends and people. I was always surrounded by people basically.
Right.
But here I didn't have many people around,
Right.
and people here are also more like spending times on their own, and that's something that I didn't experience before, and I was really feeling weird that I could spend 1 week just by myself in the apartment, and I felt like, do people don't like me here? Why they don't invite me somewhere? Am I like too much? Or I was really questioning a lot, but then I just realized that it's just a lifestyle for some people here, that they just spend time by themselves, and I never had that. And I literally learned how to go alone for a walk or go alone somewhere to some gig, and for maybe for my friends in Czech Republic and my family in Uzbekistan this may sound like really weird,
Right.
but here it's normal. You just do your own shit by yourself, and that's something that I had to learn, for example, and
Right.
I'm still learning it. So
How do you handle loneliness?
kossu.
Sorry, I didn't bring some today.
That's for the best.
Shit. And no, and this is something I don't talk about very often, but I normally enjoy my own company. But there are moments here where it feels, maybe it's just random moments where I miss a world where everything made complete sense, or maybe it's ripples in my memory reminding me of a time where I grew up in a place and I knew everything about it. But living here on my own, there are times where everything, even the people I call my friends, are all busy, or no one's contacting me. And there can be certain moments where things just feel a little lonely, in terms of everything feels far away.
Yeah.
The language is foreign, the people are foreign, even the friends. And in terms of even things to do for fun here, I find it a bit difficult to find things outside of my work and going out. It's really difficult to, at least I haven't put any energy in trying to find different kind of events traveling to certain places for a
Well, now you
period of
know.
time.
Now you met me, so you're gonna have the best time of your life in Finland now.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. But
But I know what
yeah,
you mean.
yeah,
I also have these flashbacks, you know, from my life in Prague, for example, and
yeah,
like until today, when I even scroll on TikTok and Instagram, and there's like a videos of even like architecture or life in Prague, I even now I talk about it, I have this like, it's not like a sadness, but like nostalgia, and I can't watch these videos.
really,
Yeah, it's been like more than a year that I'm here, but it still kind of like hurts me.
yeah,
Um, I'm still missing Prague, and when I go back there, I spend some time there, and when I have to return back to Finland, I cry on the plane because it's not because I'm like questioning my decision of moving here. I have what I was dreaming of here,
yeah.
but come on, 10 years living there, you cannot just erase it from your life. I grew up
No, you
there, and I
can't.
value. I didn't know how much I love Prague until I moved out from there.
Can you are you still with the war still going on? Do you still visit Prague?
Yeah, it was for the whole month
Oh yeah,
in
you did say.
July.
And how
Yeah.
was that there?
It was more, I would say, relaxed. At least people were more relaxed. If I speak Russian, of course there were some comments made still, but I don't know. I just felt like I'm in my place.
Yeah,
I know everything there. I speak the language. It's just I feel kind of home there. And
yeah.
I feel home here as well, but it's still growing. It's a work in
I
progress.
understand. I understand. I'm probably living here in Finland for me has been pretty wild because I didn't expect myself to take this place that was so different to everything I knew and start to feel so at home here. Like all the random shit here. The fact that I find myself liking and growing accustomed to things I never thought I'd be accustomed to. Say, for example, in public transport, not necessarily wanting to sit next to people.
Yeah.
It's not a big desire of mine because in South Africa it was always quite full and stuff.
Packed.
Um, I enjoy my own company a bit more. I like things like saunas and I don't know. There's just certain things, and I know I've posted videos about this before, but even here in my apartment, if I'm wanting to leave and I hear my neighbors in the corridor, I will rather wait to hear them leave.
Okay, now the most important question.
Okay, what?
Salmiakki.
Oh no,
Yes or no?
no, no, absolutely not. You love it, don't you?
Only salmari,
Oh, the
the
drink.
in the liquor form. That's make it more like tastes better.
Well, to be honest, when it comes to alcohol, we accept things that taste like trash simply because of the effect it
Yes.
will have on us afterwards.
Unless it's yellow. Yellow vini.
Oh,
That's something that I I I saw stars in front of me when I took that shot.
explain what yellow vina is.
It's
It's
this it's this shot that I don't.
is it like some yeah, it's a mixture if I'm not mistaken. It's a mixture of a whole bunch of these different liquors or
Yeah,
something.
it's yeah, like I can drink the hardest liquor possible. Like in Czech Republic and in Slovakia, they have a lot of these shots, you know, made
Right.
of different stuff that people are usually like yaks, but for me it's like the favorite thing on earth. But then there is this yellow, and I tried it for the first time, like recently, I think a few months ago. And I was like, I can handle whatever, like yellow. What is yellow? Like, come on. Then I take that shot, and
Oof.
yeah, I thought I died for a sec. I don't know, like, I saw like flashes, stars, and it was just like one shot, and I just told myself, no.
It's really horrible, right? And the last thing, I mean, well, two more things. First one is, do you find it in terms of going out here and the drinking culture here in Finland, how has that affected you and how do you feel about it?
The fact that alcohol is very expensive here makes things maybe easier for me.
Does it make it easier? Are you able to say, no, I'm not going out because I can't afford
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I can afford it, but it's just, come on. I come from Czech Republic where beer is like €1.
See, I've been here for too long. Maybe that's why
That's why, like, I'm still getting used to the prices, but I think that people say here that Finns drink a lot. Yes, they drink a lot, but
not in
on
comparison to some other places, but
on weekends. Like
yes.
when they go out, like Friday, Saturday, they drink until they pass out, and that's true.
Yeah.
But in Prague, because the alcohol is so cheap, going out every day and having a drink every day is not a problem at all.
It's super easy.
It's super easy, and
Sounds like South Africa.
yeah, people drink there. People drink beer there, like water. And
See, it's probably a good thing why I shouldn't be living in some of those places.
that's why I moved.
Because the problem is in a country like Finland where a lot of people maybe find it difficult to communicate in general, part of the way of dealing with some of that loneliness is going to bars and stuff where after throwing back a couple drinks, everyone loosens up and everyone is able to talk. And for just a little bit of time, even if your friends have said no or your friends are busy, you have that little bit of time where you get to connect with people and you get to have conversations. I do think that that is part of a big reason for why people do go out, because in general, people are a little bit more reserved here.
Yeah, like sober Finns and drunk Finns is completely different stories.
Yeah.
This
It really is.
This is different story, and yeah, like it's more fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and I think most of the Finnish friends that I made were because we were drinking and like randomly met somewhere.
I completely agree. And I guess, let me see.
Is it like 5-hour podcast?
Yeah, I think we've come to the end of it. It's just over 2 hours, so it's completely
Holy
fine.
shit.
Yeah. And I guess to end it off, I guess, where can people follow you and stuff online?
On TikTok, on Instagram, both band and myself.
Yes.
I guess you will link
I'll link everything in
yes, everything. And yeah, I just want to say, like, thank you, of course, for having me here.
It is a pleasure.
And thank you to like my Finnish community as well for really being nice to me. And
that's good.
I really like my Finnish audience on I'm more active on TikTok, so
yeah,
I really like my Finnish audience on TikTok. They are so supporting, and they are always like, go girl, like do it. They always support me, and I rarely find negative comments.
Right.
And I feel I felt really welcoming here, and that's kind of one thing that makes me feel better here, even
Right.
though it's a different country, different climate, different everything. So that support that I get from people here is just, it's amazing. I feel like if I belong here in a way because people really accept me. I hope I'm not mistaken.
No, that's a beautiful thing. I completely agree with you in terms of, because a lot of the content that you make, even though you might poke fun at certain things, it's coming out of a good place of appreciating being here and engaging with that audience.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that. And thank you for actually coming and having a conversation with me. This is basically the first podcast, so
5 hour
congratulations.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah, it's just over 2 hours, but with it'll probably be around an hour and 45 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, but thank you.
Yay.
Boom, and it's done. Fantastic. We did it.